Hey, hi, everybody. So we are now in week 2 of the class, and either you've understood the cognitive presence or you haven't in developing your online lessons for your course. So basically what you're going to do in this class is to build out your entire class, all the activities, all the lessons. You have the essentials in place, this framework. You have the learning outcomes, you've got the descriptions of your modules and your course description. You've got the authentic assessment and the rubric, how you're going to measure students when they get to the end of your class. And you have a lesson that builds to the end of that class in your formative assessment. So you've got the framework in place. Now you got to build the lessons. That's what this is about. And so the cool thing about this phases of cognitive presence is it really, all you have to do is plug in the pieces and your lessons are built. So plug in, okay, so for the triggering event, so let me think a second how we do this. So first of all, you need to figure out, okay, since my students are going to be able to do this at the very end of my class, what's an activity that I have to do to get them there? So if your students are learning about empathic listening skills, and they, at the end of the class, they go through a scenario where they role play and practice those skills and demonstrate those skills, well, then you have to teach empathic listening skills somewhere, right? And so if I'm going to teach empathic listening skills, and say there's 7 of them that I have to teach, then I want, what is my triggering event? Maybe the triggering event is, and the triggering event is where you're kind of warming the class up to the idea, giving them a sense of what you're going to teach them. Okay, so it's kind of like, tell them what you're going to teach them, but make it fun. So a trigger event might be something like, you know, do you have a teenage kid, or have you ever, or a niece or nephew that will never talk to anybody? How do you work with that kid? What can you do? Any ideas? Well, what if instead of telling that kid what to do, you sat down and tried these active or empathic listening skills to see if that kid, you can get that kid on your side, right? So that would be the triggering event, kind of started out. Empathic listening skills are a way to truly communicate with other people, blah, 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 right? Triggering event, okay? Now, once you've kind of given them an overview of what you're going to teach them, then the exploration. Take a look at this website to learn more about empathic listening skills. Notice that there are 7 skills, and you can say, you know, maybe they're sequential or not, you know, and why don't you rate yourself on each of the skills? How well do you think you do on these skills? And then, you know, and then the exploration, kind of learning more about the skills. Then comes the integration. Maybe you start practicing the skills. Maybe you take a little test on how well you do in these skills, rate yourself, and then notice that you're pretty low on skill 5, 6, and 7. So you build those skills, and you work with peers to practice them, talk them through. That's the integration, making it a part of your own skills and knowledge, you know, kind of synthesizing it. And then finally, when you're done, then comes the resolution. Well, overall, I'm pretty good on most of the skills. I'm terrible at skill 7. I need to work on that. Here's how I'm going to work on it. Resolution is the reflection, and then the moving forward, okay? So that's what you're going to do in your class. Now, we've asked you to build the 4 phases of cognitive presence in a lesson in Module 1 and also in Module 2. So that's where you're going with this, and that means you're including the links to get there to learn that stuff, the exercises, the activities, the lectures. We want to see some technology in there, so go look for some technology that you're using if you haven't already done so. And that's where we're going, okay? So week 2, hold on a second, let me get there. Okay. So week 2 again, so you're doing this with module 1. And there's some drafts, there's some questions here in the draft to help get you going, okay? And then in week 3, I think you do module 2. Let's take a look. Oh, okay. In week 4, you do module 2. In week 3, you start to move into the social presence and the cognitive presence. So we'll address that when we get to week 3, okay? But meanwhile, just kind of start building your class. Do it in the background, because by the end of this class, your entire online course will be finished and you're going to tie it up with a bow, okay? So be getting all the pieces in place so that your online course is all wrapped up and put together. Okay, thanks guys, see ya.